some of the things that we find businesses are facing, some challenges they're facing in Hong Kong are, you know, quite, I think the challenge is the education around understanding what is a sustainable food system. So these are some things that we've heard that we are trying to help businesses resolve. So the first one is there's a lot of misinformation, and we've seen businesses talk about making claims around, oh, our menu is low carbon because it's local food. So this is actually inaccurate. And the reason for that is because 80% of the carbon emissions from our food system actually come from the production stage, from the farming stage, not from the distance that is traveled. So if you say that your food is low carbon because it's local, then that's actually inaccurate. And instead, what you should be talking about is the fact that it's more important to focus on what we eat. So the choice of food, is it beef? Is it chicken? Is it potatoes? Is it beans? So we need to focus on what we eat, not the distance, not how far the food has traveled, because 80% of the emissions come from the production stage. Okay, so let me say that again. The food emissions come from the production stage, not from the transportation stage. So it's wrong to say that because the food is local, it is a low carbon menu. But what is good about local food, because there's lots of positives, local food is fresher because it has to travel shorter distances, so it's fresher. So the chefs really love that. And local food is also great because you are supporting jobs, local livelihoods, and local economy. So these are some things that we hear a lot of misconceptions about, misinformation, okay? So if you want to use local food as a marketing angle, then it's better to talk about local livelihoods and jobs and freshness. And also a good one is preserving diversity of foods, like heritage foods. So you're preserving the foods that are grown in the region locally. And if you stop growing and serving and selling those foods, then they become vulnerable to extinction. People won't buy them anymore. And that's not good, because we want diversity in our food system, which is good for our soils. And then the second one, we hear a lot is, a lot of businesses, especially the big businesses, are doing ESG reporting. So they're making these fancy reports and they're tick boxing. Yes, we've done our SDG this or SDG that, Sustainable Development Goals, but actually they are not taking action. So we see a lot of that. And so what you don't want is just doing a fancy report and then where's the action? And of course, environmental conditions, economic conditions can slow you down, which is what happened in the case of COVID with many businesses. When they made commitments for zero plastic, they couldn't commit to it because COVID happened. And so what they did was transparently communicate it with their customers that because of COVID, they had to extend that deadline. So the better thing to do is to really get some of those commitments and solutions out, make sure that they're ethical and authentic, and make sure you can measure the results. And that's what we do with a food strategy workshop. We help you come up with solutions that you can measure the results on. Another one is important to think about procurement in a way that involves sustainability for the whole supply chain. So food waste, plastic pollution, animal welfare, all of these procurement of commodities, seafood, meat, they all have their own challenges, right? So what we hope businesses will do is take a systemic approach, and not just focus on individual areas. For example, if you are a chef and the chef is asking their sustainability team, can you help me with a sustainable sea bass? And they talk about sustainable being low carbon. This is a low carbon sea bass, catch it from the sea and we bring it in. But the manager has not looked at ethical issues such as slavery in the supply chain, or they haven't looked at risk of extinction. Is the seafood at risk of extinction? They haven't checked it on an IUC red list. So that is really important that you do that. You take that holistic